Greetings everyone, Chris and Gary here, talking today about the 2022 Leonetti Spring release. Incredibly excited about the lineup of wines we have this year. First time we've had a chance to actually sit down and taste through all the new bottled wines together and share our thoughts with you. So the first wine we're tasting is our 2020 Merlot. Drinking awesome early, don't you think?
I do. The nose it's fully developed even now, and it shouldn't even be developing the bottle bouquet yet. It seems like there's some good acidity in it this year.
Yeah, the 20s really did have good acidity. The way the fall ended cool.
Oh yeah,
lovely. We of course released the Merlot earlier than the rest of our wines. We want to preserve that super bright fruit and those fresh aromas that make it drink so incredibly good in its youth.
This is going to be one of those wines that's going to age nicely because of the acidity, but the forward fruit is showing that early accessibility. Beautiful.
So next wine is our 2019 Sangiovese. 2019 was a great vintage. It ended very abruptly. We had a freeze that caused a premature end for most vineyards. However, since we started planting our vineyards in earnest, we chose higher elevation sites, like our upland vineyard, which is the majority of the Sangiovese, and we were able to hang for I think another 10 days, 2 weeks before we finally picked. So yeah, 2019 is a year of just enjoyable tannin. They're soft tannins, and I think some of that is the few rains we had towards the end of harvest.
My very first initial impression is that it is unctuous. Everything is there in proportions and in balance. So when you put it in your mouth, it just like expands with the fruit and the flavors, and you just go, wow.
So next wine is 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon.
Quintessential Cabernet nose. It's just beautiful. You can almost smell fine green tannins in the nose.
Great thickness on the palate and remarkably soft tannins.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's no Merlot in this.
A little bit of Petit Verdot and a little bit of Cab Franc. The rest is all Cab Sauv.
Good. Well,
you still got it.
I still have it. I get lucky once in a while.
Get a lot of baking spices, cardamom, like
that has
blue
that
fruits.
Classically proportioned. Some of the early Cabernets we did, like in the 80s, would have that initial nose. Beautiful.
It's a cab that's not in your face. It's a little bit more elegant, and it really just has a lot of purity of fruit and just balance.
I love that wine. It's good.
The 2019's our final wine is our Reserve, which of course is our flagship. It's the wine that we blend first, we put the most effort into. I think you made your first Reserve in the mid 80s, and ever since then we try and maintain that tradition of it being the single finest wine you can lay down in your cellar and enjoy on special occasions. Cabernet with Malbec this year. Usually has Petit Verdot, but the Malbec was so spectacular in 2019. It made a good bit of the blend. The majority of it, of course, is Cabernet. What do you think?
80 was our first Reserve, actually. And I'm with you on Malbec.
I think it's got a very bright future as a varietal. It's certainly awesome to blend with. It's a variety that's very, just comes at you with laser-like focus of the fruit. All around really fun grape to make. So those vines get older, they've started to increasingly make the Reserve blend.
This Reserve would normally be a little bit larger in so much as total phenolics or tannin structure. Just beautiful.
Yeah, they're soft, supple wines. Really amazing. Okay, so last but not least, our 2016 Alianaco. So this is our fourth release of this noble Southern Italian variety. Notice we don't have our normal banding on the capsule. That's an ode to COVID. Couldn't get our normal printed capsules, so I think for the rest of my life, every time I go in the cellar and see the unbranded capsules, I'll remember that we made it through that 2020 vintage.
So next year you should have the branded capsule on there.
Alianaco is a big wine. It's full of incredible flavor, but needs a lot of time. So we age it a full 4 years in the cellar, and then even after that, we give it more than another year in glass before we release it to you almost 6 years later, 5.5 years later. So it's a wine of patience, but I think it's an amazing grape. And once I discovered it, it's like sort of like we had to make it.
The Alianaco is the oldest documented wine grape variety in the world. Pliny the Elder wrote about Alianaco in 17 AD. A lot of the other varieties, like Merlot and Cabernet, came along later, you know?
Yeah, pretty phenomenal history.
Pretty phenomenal history. And what I find is the way Chris's program is taken to age this in the amphora and in barrel and in large oak casks for longer periods of time, the wine takes on a unique aged character without more of the woody character. And I find that Alianaco has this unique exotic quality to it. It's like, what is that? You know, it's just, but it's like exotic, like
lots of leather,
Moroccan leather.
Yeah, right. You do get pretty wild aromas.
Wild aromas, wild berries, fruits, just all kinds of things.
Leather, black licorice. The thing I love about it is it has density with levity, which to me is like the holy grail of wine.
Yeah.
To have like that weight, but not be, you know, thick or cloying on the palate. It's still like refreshing, and I'm in love with this grape variety.
Pretty incredible. I'm glad that you discovered some Alianacos out of Italy, and I believe you sourced the cuttings from 1 or 2 vines in California.
Yeah, there's literally 1 certified vine at UC Davis at the time. We brought every bud from it up and got some planted. Yeah, so those are 22 Leonetti releases. Looking forward to seeing all of you out in May, first full weekend in May, and get to enjoy these with us together. So thank you, as always, for your support of all things Leonetti. Yep, Figgins,
Salute.
Toil, Oregon, and we just appreciate you guys. Never-ending support of our wines. Keep drinking them, we'll keep making them. Cheers.